Hello, hello, hello. Let me just put you up a little higher so that you're not so low. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Getting a little peek at my behind the scenes. Everybody thinks that I have this amazing wall in my studio, and look at that. It's something that my husband bought me, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So it kind of gives me that studio space look, but a little trick. Now you seen. Now you seen. Hello. Once you pop on, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're watching from. And today I want to talk about. It's not very sunny here where I am in Alberta, but I want to talk about sunbathing. And I don't know if you take some time for self-care during the day, but one of the things that I do for self-care when it's really sunny out is I just go stand in my backyard and I just let the sun kiss my face. And even though I'm not a person that likes to be out in the heat, in the sun, I love to be outside in the heat, but not in the sun. I'll sit in the shade. But yeah, just sitting there letting the sun kiss my face. It is so beautiful to just feel that heat and just taking some nice deep breaths in and then exhaling. Just do this a few times, and that is just a little piece of self-care that works for me to help me get on with the day. If I'm feeling really overwhelmed and anxious like I was today, I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I've got so much going on. My house is a mess. I got my new dog is eating everything that she can. I had a vegan sausage that I was going to cook for lunch, and I had it sitting on the stove, and I had to run to the washroom. Ran to the washroom, came back, and she ate it. So I was like, So I just needed to go stand and be outside in nature, even though it's not very sunny out, just to be outside and just take that time to just. And sunbathing reminds me of one of my son's pets. Spike was the pet's name. And you guess what kind of a pet this was? With a name named Spike. Yes, a bearded dragon. A bearded dragon. And I don't know, it was so funny when I went to the store and we were picking out what he was going to get for a pet. He chose a bearded dragon, and there was all of this clothes for bearded dragons, like a little sombrero. You could put like a little chain, like a little leash on them and walk your bearded dragon. Ours was just small. He was just a tiny little one when we got him, and when he passed away, he was probably about that long, maybe about that long, about 1.5 feet long. He didn't live as long as we had probably thought he would have, but yeah, so it was an interesting thing. Like, really? You could dress up your bearded dragon? It's not just dogs and cats that you dress up? I don't know. Anyway, and one of the things that this bearded dragon, ate, that was one of his staples, was crickets. And let me just share a story with you about this. So, when Spike passed away, it was really devastating for me. I struggled with this. My son was away somewhere. I can't remember where he was. And he passed. And I was just like, devastated to tell him that Spike had passed. And it was really tough. It's tough. But the one thing I was grateful for after was that we weren't going to have crickets all through the house. So we had a cricket feeder. And so you would buy your bag of crickets and then you'd put them in this feeder. And one time I said to my son, it's your animal, so I'm going to let you be responsible to do this. So he's about 10, maybe 11 years old. When he maybe 11 or 12. I don't remember exactly. Maybe around 11 or 12. So 11 or 12-year-old boy is like, come on, let's go. Like, he just need to get her done. I gotta go. Like, he didn't have. Calm down, right? Puts the thing in there, puts the lid on. I'm like, did you put the lid on tight? Yep, I put the lid on tight. Okay, I trust that he did. So he goes and feeds his cricket, and they go up this tube in the cricket feed, and he just drops that tube in and shakes it out, and the crickets all go in there. Puts the tube back in the thing, and the crickets can go back up in this little tube for the next feeding. That's fine. That's the only way they can get out of this, is with this tube. I'm laying in bed one night and I hear this, or whatever. I don't even know what the sound is. You know what a cricket? I was like, oh, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I get up and I'm like, there is a cricket somewhere in the house. Can't find it anywhere. And here the crickets were underneath the washing machine in our laundry room, which is by my son's bedroom. Let me tell you. I made darn tootin' sure after that cricket thing was on tight. But then there was another time where, I don't know, there wasn't any crickets up the tube. So he decided to take the lid off and get the crickets out. Didn't put the tube on tight, or put the lid on tight. Crickets again. So I do not miss the sound of crickets at 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me tell you. Oh my gosh. Oh, but that bearded dragon Spike. Yeah. It took me a little bit to actually like pet him, because he was like just the texture of him. He was a little creepy at first. But then, I would go and I would touch him a little, and I'd watch him eat his crickets and his long done, and he just like so quick, he'd just run around the little thing and just get every cricket, and the crickets would try and hide, and I would just, I'm a vegetarian. I'm like, those poor crickets. I would have set them free, but not in my house. But anyway, yeah, that's just a funny story about Spike, our bearded dragon. Well, not our, my son's bearded dragon. And the things that you have to deal with when you get pets, and then when pets pass, how you navigate that, and just really having to have that tough conversation with my son, who was probably about 14 at the time, 15 maybe. Spike lived, I think he was 10 when he got him, and he was about 15 when he died. I think that was about 5 years, which is not a long time for a bearded dragon. Typically they live for years. And if he was still alive, he'd probably still be living here, and I'd still be worrying about crickets. But rest in peace, Spike. And yeah, it was a hard conversation to have, but I think that when we can converse and let our children know about what loss is, and what grief is, and what death is, then and just be open, and be open to any conversations that they have, anything that they want to ask, let them ask. And if you don't know the answer, just say, you know what, I'm going to find out the answer for you, and I'm going to get back to you. Or maybe we can go and look that answer up at the library, or go talk to somebody about that, or whatever it is. But really just to be open in that. And yeah. So bearded dragons and crickets. Oh man, I miss Spike, but not those darn crickets. Let's just do like, I don't even know what crickets sound like. I don't know. Let's just do laughter, because it feels good to laugh. And then we'll take a nice deep breath in after we're done this little laughter exercise. So just think about the crickets hiding underneath my washer and dryer, and them just making this noise at 3 o'clock in the morning. And maybe you've had a cricket problem in your house. Let's just think about that. Get the annoyance of it. Let's finish with a nice deep breath in. And then exhale. Perhaps you place your hands over your chest. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Thanks for tuning in, Rob. Inhale. And exhale. Rob is my husband, so I'm sure he remembers the crickets as well. I'm gonna go talk with him about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Remember to share a smile with a stranger because you never know. It may just change their day.